Welcome to the Spooky Nerd Club, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a film that's so bad we think it's good, and it's The Devil's Honey from Lucio Fulci. And so bad it's good, we recommend movies that deserves a chance despite their bad reviews. So we're going to jump into some bad reviews from Letterboxd, and I think you should go first because some of these are pretty hilarious.
Okay. So one person rated it 2.5 stars and said, "I won't rest until I know how everyone dealt with the aftermath of the nail polish scene."
I didn't understand how nail polish actually worked on nylons like that.
So if you have a tear in your tights and you put like clear nail polish over it, it stops it from spreading like until you get home, basically. But you usually don't do it with
colored nail polish. Yeah. That's why when she was doing it, I was like, what the hell is she doing? I didn't know that was actually a thing.
It's actually a thing.
So the red nail polish was just
goofy.
So another review someone wrote was, they gave it 3 stars out of 5, and they said, ain't nobody ever been that good at a saxophone. And we know Johnny killed that saxophone scene. Well, a masterful scene in cinema.
Someone else rated it 2.5 stars and said it should have been titled Sax and Violence. Kudos and consolations to the hairdressing team.
So this person wasn't even paying attention to the movie, probably.
No. Missed everything.
Someone else gave this film 2.5 stars, and they said they just watched it for the cinematography. The last 2/3 of this are bad, slosh, and underwhelming, but that first act is crazy, and the thing with the saxophone is pure cinema, which is what I've been saying.
And the last review we have from Letterboxd was for 2 stars, and they said the kind of movie that you used to watch at 2 a.m. on a school night with the volume real low and your finger on the channel up button in case you heard your parents' door open.
Yes.
Yes.
I know that feeling 100%.
You like the taste of your own blood? Lick it then.
We first have Johnny. His character's arc begins with his strange relationship with Jessica, which includes moments of both affection and what seems to be abuse. But is it really? Because she stops him, tells him don't do it, and then asks for it, and then initiates it, and then it's weird. But Johnny later on gets in a motorcycle accident and it puts him in a coma.
We also have a character named Dr. Wendell Simpson, a surgeon with marital issues. One day he's called to operate on Johnny. During the surgery, his mind wanders off because he's got personal shit to deal with, including his failing marriage because his wife just caught his ass cheating. As a result of his distraction, Johnny dies on the operating table. And because of this, it triggers Jessica into grief and rage as she holds Dr. Simpson responsible for her boyfriend's death.
Now we have to ask ourselves, horror girl, who is this Jessica? So she's Johnny's girlfriend who is now deeply affected by his death. Her character transitions from grief to madness as she holds Dr. Simpson responsible for the death of Johnny. Jessica then becomes increasingly deranged and violent throughout the film, subjecting Simpson to psychological torture and physical abuse as she grapples with her loss. She does all types of wild and crazy shit at the 3rd act of this film. I just want to know what your experience was when you first saw this film and you put it on, because for me it was like a complete blind buy. I had no idea what this movie was about besides the trailer, and I thought the trailer was genius. So that's why I pre-ordered it from Seven Films and I got it on physical media. So I just want to know, you going into it, you didn't see no trailer, you don't know anything about it. What were your initial thoughts?
When you introduced this to me, you said it's erotic, and that's pretty much all I got. So I had no idea what to expect. When the saxophone scene, kind of comes in, I'm like, okay, cool, it's erotic, I get it. But then it just kind of spirals into what the f***?
Yeah.
The whole time I was watching this, repeatedly, I'm like, what the f*** is going on?
Yeah. It takes you to places that you wouldn't expect. Lucio definitely reached a point to where he was probably like, let me just try to make the most outlandish, craziest softcore porno I can make without getting, a mature rating anywhere.
So first of all, Jessica, she's a badass. She's super hot, good for her. But she's doing all this, and as we see flashbacks of her with Johnny, I'm like, this man is who you're doing all this for, because I feel like she did not like him very much when he was alive. She was always pushing him away.
Yeah.
So I guess I just can't really understand where she's coming from with all this.
I'm not going without you. How'd you like that?
Go away!
I love you, Jessica.
Leave me alone! Go!
I'm never gonna leave you.
Go!
You can't get rid of me.
Leave me alone! Go away!
I'll stay with you
Go
forever.
away!
I think maybe we needed to see like some kind of background more from her, like her upbringing, maybe a story to get like maybe where her attentions were coming from, because sometimes she would literally ask for it and she would initiate like making out with him, and then he gets a little touchy grabby and she's like, no, stop it, and running away from him and like pushing him off, and then all of a sudden they're doing it and she's loving it.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew her long enough to where he was like, I already know this girl, you want it.
It could be. We don't know how long they've known each other, how long they've been together.
Right.
They could be deeply in love for years. Who knows?
Childhood crush.
Yeah.
I love you. Now, what's the matter with you?
You treat me like a piece of meat for your dinner.
Don't be silly. I love you.
The opening scene with the saxophone, to me, is one of the most unforgettable scenes.
What are you gonna do, Johnny?
I'm gonna dedicate this to you.
So I gotta ask you, how do you think that would feel?
I mean, as I was watching it, like, she clearly seems to be super into it, but how good would that really feel? I mean, I feel like there is not enough pressure for it to feel, you know?
He must be blowing them pipes hard. If you were Johnny, what song would you play into someone's coochie?
Probably, like, a Lana Del Rey song on the sax, because it sounds so sexy. So something like...
A Lana Del Rey song.
Yeah, something slow and sexy, probably.
Honestly, I'm not too familiar with any of her songs, so I don't know how they sound, but I trust you.
They're sexy.
I think I will play Teddy Pendergrass, Love TKO.
Okay.
I think I'm better. Let it go.
So to get back on track with the weird scenes we've been talking about, there's a strange nail polish scene with the doctor. What did you make of that scene?
I just don't understand this man. I don't know how he can be watching this all happen and be like, this is doing it for me. I don't know. Everyone's like that in the whole movie. Why are they all turned on by weird shit?
He was definitely turned on. He was ready to go immediately. And
Immediately.
we both know that didn't last very long. Another wild and weird scene. There's a hot candle wax scene where Jessica pours it on Dr. Simpson's back. Maybe it symbolized like her transforming from like a grieving lover into like someone obsessed with like causing pain on others, and you know, to hold him responsible for basically her suffering.
My name is Fear. But you can call me Jessica.
We got to the point to where she was almost naked in every scene during that time.
Every scene,
She was just ass naked doing everything. There's going to be so much I can't show because of this. How did you think her mental break transitioned? Like, did you see that coming?
I mean, she's pushing him off all the time. She didn't like him. To me, she didn't like him as much as she's remembering she liked him. And so to do all this, to torture this man, like, for this guy that she didn't even really like that much, I just don't understand it.
And then at the same time, she was basically about to drown the doctor at one point in the ocean. She like feels bad and picks him up, right? So I just don't understand how like she's trying to get revenge on him, and she was acting like she was gonna kill him, but she's still kind of like battling back and forth, like, should I or shouldn't I? Which kind of honestly resembles her whole relationship with Johnny, if you think about it. Should I or shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Nick is such a shithead. No.
This is something that I think that makes the film super hilarious because I did not see it coming at all. The end of the movie where we find out when, well, we're pretty much introduced to Nikki's character in the beginning of the film, but we don't really see him again until the end. He's not a huge character in it, but his interaction with Johnny and Jessica, it kind of helped to establish some kind of context to the relationship. And just to give you some more information on that, one day, like all three of them go to the movie theater and Nikki decides to just blow Johnny literally right in front of Jessica, which leads her to basically, I think, to chaos because she's just thinking about that moment and it kind of is like her up a little bit. So I don't think she ever really got over Nikki's involvement, which adds to her emotional state that kind of like translates to like her craziness in the film.
Yeah.
Come on. Give me some more. Give me some more context.
Okay, I have more to say. So
All right.
after I watched that scene, first of all, it's shitty that they did that right at the very end because I would have liked some more context on that or like to see what happened after. But in the beginning, when Nikki was watching them in the like recording booth, I thought that Nikki like was feeling Jessica and he was mad that like Johnny was with Jessica, and then at the very end of the film you find out that's not the case. But I wish they would have like divulged that a little earlier so we could have seen some more context around that.
Which I think was kind of cool to hide that because that just caught me completely off guard. I swear it did.
Yes.
I did not see that coming at all. Even all the strange close-ups and all the looks he was giving him, that shit went over my head completely. I was just thinking like maybe he's just a frustrated producer because his freaking girlfriend won't leave him alone and they're trying to make some beats here. They're trying to make some hits. So that's how I was looking at it, but I guess I definitely did not understand the body language of Nikki because he was kind of pissed.
Okay, you're the boss. Have a good time. I'm a patient girl.
Bye. Recording.
So in The Devil's Honey, there was a lot of crazy, unique, sleazy scenes, which makes me love it. But the bad hit me when watching an interview with Blanca Maciac, and she hinted at a point that like she was often being put on the spot with like how far they could take her in these scenes.
I think Lucio Fulci took it way too far. We were in shock shooting the film, and yeah, I think he took it way too far.
No director I feel like should ever force their talent to feel uncomfortable and make them do something they're not really, it's just something they don't want to do. You could tell though that like Blanca was definitely a professional gangster. She showed up to set and did exactly what she needed to do for the film, and she took everything like a champ. And I think we really need to give her her flowers for really being a trooper and killing it in this film.
I was like, you ask me and I'll do it. And I really studied it like the Bible, because David Lynch used to say the script is the Bible, so.
She said that the movie got to a point where she just stayed naked in between takes because she didn't see the point of putting clothes back on.
I decided at some point in the film not to get dressed anymore. How in between sequences, they say, okay, let's break for 5 minutes, and you would put the rope. At one point, I just said, the rope, excuse my language. I'm just going to stay naked because that's what seems to be the case in this film.
So I give her all the credit in the world for pulling this complicated role, and I think if it were a cast with someone else, I think the movie just wouldn't have been as enjoyable because she really brought the craze like to the film, and you could see it. Like maybe from all the trauma on set, the emotional trauma of like being forced to do the things motivated her character in a kind of a way, which is why that translates on screen so well.
I think it'd be a fun watch with like a group of people because everyone would probably react really different. And most people are not going to expect what happens in this movie. So
Yeah.
seeing everyone's reactions probably would be pretty funny.
I would love to put it on at a random party, but then I don't want people to be like, Ray, what you trying to do here?
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you.
One thing I want to say is, of course, a lot of people might watch this film and they think it's terrible, which is why we wanted to mention it and why a film is so bad but good. This film is one of those movies that you could just watch with a group of friends, have a good time, laugh. Don't take the cinema too serious, especially the story. With all the stuff that we've seen in today's world that's being repeated every year, the same type of slashers, the same type of comedy movies, the same type of drama movies. This movie is so random that it's just one of those films that you can watch and just appreciate the balls that it took to make. So I highly recommend everyone to go check out The Devil's Honey. I don't care what the reviews say. I think it's good. And for that reason, this is why we're recommending it.
What's the matter with you?
Thank you all for watching this video, and be sure to like and subscribe and let us know in the comments what song would you play into someone's coochie, because Horror Girl really wants to know.
I want to know.
So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you all soon, and as always, Horror Girl, take us out.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.